UFC 327, Prochazka versus Ulberg takes place this weekend at the Costa Center in Miami, Florida. And I'm going to be going through the entire card, giving you my picks, predictions, and bets. Starting off the card, we have Charles Radtke taking on Francisco Prado. Charles Radtke is coming off that submission win against Daniel Frunzo, and Francisco Prado is coming off that razor-thin split decision loss against Nikolai Verchodnikov. In this fight, I'm going to go with Charles Radtke. You see, Francisco Prado, he's 23, he's young, and I just think he's inexperienced, man. He's been in the UFC for about 5 fights now, and he's failed to have success. You see, Francisco Prado is a young guy that has lots of explosive power. The guy is very dynamic, but the guy does nothing else except his boxing. The guy's not very defensively sound. He gets hit as much as he hits others, and he doesn't deal with range very well. And a guy like Charles Radtke, man, that's all that this guy has. He has range, he has power, and he has his ability to cut angles and find his shots. You see, Charles Radtke, who has he lost to? Okay, he got laid out by Carlos Prates, and then he got laid out by Mike Malott, 2 guys who are in the top 10 of the UFC welterweight division. And he's not going to lose to a guy like Francisco Prado. Francisco Prado has not been able to make his mark in the UFC, and I think that's lack of experience. I think that Charles Radtke is going to come out there and secure himself a decision because Francisco Prado does start off really hot in the first. And I could see Charles Radtke being a little bit overwhelmed in the first, but when it comes to rounds 2 and 3, where Charles Radtke is going to make his reads, he's going to introduce his veteran savvy skills, and I think he's going to steal this fight from Francisco Prado. I think he's going to take it to a decision, show him his veteran savvy skills, cut his angles, pick his shots, bust up Francisco Prado's face, and secure himself a 29-28 unanimous decision victory. Moving up the card, we have Kevin Gastelum taking on Vicente Luque. Man, if this was 2016, I would be excited. I would be raving. But man, in the big 26, both these guys are fighting. No fucking way. Kevin Gastelum is coming off that win against Dustin Solfuse by UD, where it was way too close for comfort. And on the side of Vicente Luque, he's coming off that Anaconda choke loss to Kevin Holland I think in August. Listen, man, I'm going to edge Kevin Gastelum, but it's not a confident edge. And the only reason I'm edging him here is that Vicente Luque 2 years ago had a brain injury, had to get surgery for it. And since he's come back, it's pretty evident that this guy's very weary of his health because when he gets hit, man, he does not react well. And when he came against Kevin Holland, man, he crumbled. He crumbled to that right hand, dropped to the floor, and kind of accepted the positional loss of an Anaconda choke. And for that reason, I have to lean Kevin Gastelum, but I'm not confident in it. Dude, Kevin Gastelum has slowed down these last few years. It seems like this guy doesn't even give a fuck about his career. This guy used to fight at welterweight, and he should be fighting at welterweight. He's a small guy for middleweight, but he's too fast. The guy doesn't fucking care about cutting weight. The guy doesn't care about putting in the work and taking his UFC career seriously. I think that this guy's just coasting by. And I think that this is going to be a pitter-patter shot. They're going to exchange. And I think that Kevin Gastelum is just going to win more of those exchanges and secure himself a decision victory. The guy doesn't have pop in his shots. The guy doesn't really have power. But, you know, as I said, Vicente Luque does have that brain injury. So I wouldn't be surprised if he does accept a TKO loss. But you know, at the end of the day, neither of these guys are particularly impressive in this day and age. Neither of these guys are taking their careers very seriously. But I'm going to lean Kevin Gastelum in this fight. Moving up the card, we have Marquil Medros taking on Chris Padilla. Man, oh my God. Both of these guys, man, I am excited for this fight. Chris Padilla has been on a tear in the UFC, ladies and gentlemen. People have been doubting him again and again, and he keeps proving us wrong. He's coming off that KO win against Ismael Bonfim. Granted, Ismael Bonfim is not that great, but he's a pretty good guy in the right outside of the rankings. Marquil Medros, on the other hand, is coming off that UD win against Mark Chonsky. And this is a tough fight to pick. These guys are both similar in age. Both these guys are technically sound. Both these guys have been on a tear. Marquil Medros is an 11-1. And man, it's such a razor-thin close fight, but I'm going to have to edge it to Chris Padilla. I don't want to pick Chris Padilla here because of Marquil Medros' danger aspect, but Chris Padilla is a really well-rounded mixed martial artist. He knows when to mix in the takedowns. He knows to chop out that leg. He knows to set up his opponents to break them down in rounds 2 and 3. This guy is a well-rounded opponent, ladies and gentlemen. Chris Padilla is not just a kickboxing aficionado nor a jiu-jitsu nerd. This guy is an MMA fighter. And I think that the fact that he's able to mix up the fight over and over again will be too much. And I think it's going to overwhelm Medros. And I don't see a finish here from Padilla because I think Medros can keep it close in the striking compartment. But when Chris Padilla starts chopping at that leg and introduces the takedown, I think it's going to slow down Markel Medros exponentially. And I think that Chris Padilla is going to be able to take over this fight. He's going to slow down Markel Medros' striking game and secure himself a decision victory. Moving up the card, we have Tatiana Suarez taking on Lupita Godinez. Whoa! A women's MMA fight? Guys, watch out. I'm so excited. Boys, I'm going to sit here and cut the fucking shit. I got Tatiana Suarez, and I have Tatiana Suarez running through Lupita Godinez. Lupita Godinez is nothing special. I'm surprised that she's even being offered a fighter like Tatiana Suarez, considering that Tatiana Suarez is in the top 5. Lupita has no reason to earn such a high shot at the rankings. And man, Lupi Godinez, she has all right striking. I would say that she edges the striking compartment in this fight, but she has very bad takedown defense. She's got all right jiu-jitsu, and I think she can avoid something like a submission threat. But I don't know, man. Tatiana Suarez is going to shoot takedowns over and over and over and over again, and I don't think that Lupita has the wrestling capabilities to stuff her takedowns, man. I think that Tatiana is going to come out there and just shoot takedowns like she's Marab from the start of the bell to the end of the fucking fight, man. I think that Tatiana Suarez is going to come out there, do what she does best, secure herself a unanimous decision victory, probably a 30-27, maybe even a 30-26. And I'm telling you, this girl's relentless. She wrestles like a man. She's relentless in the grappling departments. And I think that she's going to come out there, make a statement, say I'm still here, say I still have title aspirations, and secure herself a 30-27. However, I would not be surprised if Tatiana comes out there and finds herself a finish. I do not see her winning by submission. But listen, Lupita might be very desperate to get out of those ground positions in rounds 2 and 3. And I think Tatiana could take advantage of her recklessness to get up by landing some vicious grounding pound and maybe securing herself a TKO. Moving up the card, we have Mateusz Gamrot taking on Esteban Ribovics. Man, I am excited for this fight. And I think a lot of people are underestimating how much of a banger this fight's going to be. See, Mateusz Gamrot, he's slowed down. I understand he got subbed by Charles Oliveira, but that's Charles Oliveira. But that split decision loss to Danton Hooker looks bad, and it's aged terribly. On the other side of Esteban Ribovics, this guy's been a little bit of a tear in the UFC. However, this guy gets into firefights in every single one of his fights. This guy is a fight of the night caliber fighter. This guy comes in there to scrap. And dude, I gotta be honest with you. What's making me scared here is Esteban Ribovics went tooth and nail with Daniel Zellhuber. He made Daniel Zellhuber look like a future contender. And we all know how Daniel Zellhuber's been doing nowadays. Getting fraud checked by my man Michael Johnson, then Bobby Green. That's a fucking terrible look, man. And I don't know who I'm going to pick in this fight, but I have to edge my boy, Esteban Ribovics. Listen, the gamer, Mateusz Gamrot, gets dropped in every single one of his fights. Even the fights he wins, even the fights he's dominating. This guy's chin is so suspect. And Esteban Ribovics, man, even though this guy's not known for his ground capability, he's got a great Argentinian wrestling background, and I think he'll be able to negate Mateusz Gamrot's consistent takedowns. And I wonder, when this fight is forced standing, is Mateusz's chin going to hold up? Because Esteban Ribovics doesn't pick his shots cleanly. Esteban Ribovics is in your face from the start of the bell to the end of the bell. This guy is relentless, and he only lands bombs. That knockout he had over Terrence McKinney was beautiful. The 1-2 set up into a cross head kick was absolutely gorgeous. Now, it is duly noted that Mateusz Gamrot is one of the best grapplers in the lightweight division. I have to give him credit where credit's due. I mean, this guy won a controversial, but he still won a split decision against Arman Tsarukyan, where it was a wrestling battle from the start of the bell to the end of the bell. And this guy has proven time and time again he's one of the best grapplers. But other than the grappling, this guy's got fuck all. That's why this guy's not been able to ever get to the very, very top. And he's always been hovering around the rank number 6 to 10 spot, because he just misses that little bit of striking to make it to the top level fighters, because he does have top level grappling. Now, he's 35. He's been finished in his last fight. He's been looking like he's slowing down. He lost to Dan Hooker. He lost to fruity boy Dan Hooker, man. And that's why I have to pick Esteban here. I have to favor the younger guy. I have to favor the hungrier guy. And I have to favor the more dangerous guy in this fight. I think that Esteban Ribovics can come out there, get himself a knockout victory and make a statement to the lightweight division. Now, I don't know if Esteban's going to make it very far, but in this matchup, I have to favor him here. I have to favor him. And on Tapology, everyone's on Gamrot. I can't believe people are putting faith in a guy who's been dropped in every single one of his fights, except for Rafael Fiziev. But he's been dropped in every single one of his fights. And that's why I have to lean Esteban Ribovics. He's the younger guy who's consistently improving time and time again. And he's shown that he's ready to get a crack at the rankings. And I have to lean him. I have to lean him. And I think that he might come out there and spark out Mateusz Gamrot. Maybe Mateusz Gamrot gets reckless with his takedown attempts. And Ribovics starts timing them. And maybe that knee up the middle is there all day long, because what Gamrot does is he doesn't have an array of takedowns. He spams doubles and singles. And I think that if Esteban Ribovics catches onto that, he can land that knee up the middle and secure himself a knockout victory. I'm excited for this fight, though, guys, because I don't think that Ribovics is going to get wet blanketed here regardless. So keep your eyes out for this fight. Moving up the card, we have... oh my fucking God. Kevin Holland taking on Randy Brown. Kevin Holland is coming off that loss against D-Rod and Mike Malott. Well, okay, dude, the Mike Malott loss is very controversial. He got dick tapped over and over and over again. On the other side of Randy Brown, he just got finished by Gabriel Bonfim. But guys, I'm going to pick Kevin Holland here. Why am I picking this can? Why am I picking the most unreliable motherfucker ever? Because of this matchup. When Kevin Holland is supposed to win, when Kevin Holland's a minus 900, you're goddamn right he's going to lose. But when he's a plus 120 underdog, oh, he's got a lot to prove, ladies and gentlemen. This is no Mike Malott, okay? This is no D-Rod. This is Randy Brown. Listen, Randy Brown has no fucking chin, okay? And he swings reckless. Dude, he got knocked out when Nico Price was on his back throwing punches from the guard. And you're telling me a guy like Kevin Holland, who picks his shots well, who manages his range really well, who has a knockout win over Joaquin Buckley, is not going to come out there and lay this guy out? He's not going to lay out Lewd Boy in Miami, Florida and make a statement. And dude, let me tell you something fucking crazy. Okay? Kevin Holland, 2 days ago, bailed out D-Rod from a Tijuana prison because he wants that rematch. And D-Rod said, fuck it, let's run it. He bailed him out of fucking jail, guys. He's here with a fucking purpose. He's here to remind everybody who Kevin Holland is. And Randy Brown, Rude Boy, he has no chin and he swings very wildly. He's very fast and he's explosive and he's got a wider range of kicks. But this guy, as well as he's offensively sound, he's defensively not sound. All right, that chin is hanged up in the air. Ishmael Bonfim was able to find that chin, and I think Kevin Holland is going to find that chin, guys. I think he's going to make a statement. Somehow, in the Big 26, Kevin Holland's going to come out there and secure himself a victory. And I think we all know who he's going to call out. He's going to call out D-Rod after he just bailed him out of fucking Tijuana prison. But I'm excited, man. Because Kevin Holland, his fights are unpredictable, man. And they're always fucking fun to watch. That's something you have to give this guy. Love him, hate him. His fights are entertaining. And this is a striker versus striker match. However, it is important to note, Kevin Holland is a jiu-jitsu black belt. Kevin Holland submitted Vicente Luque. Kevin Holland is very sound in the jiu-jitsu compartment. Not in the wrestling, but in the jiu-jitsu. So I could see him coming out there, dropping Randy Brown. And instead of being reckless and basically fumbling a finish, I think he can do exactly what he did against Luque. And that's dropping Randy Brown, then going in and finding himself an anaconda choke. And that's why I'm going to pick Kevin Holland in this fight. And if I had to pick a method of victory, I'm going to go with Kevin Holland by sub. Book it, baby. Fucking book it. Moving up the card, we have Patricio Pitbull versus Aaron Pico. Guys, the Bellator Championship is here, all right? These two are the greatest prospects that have ever come out of Bellator. Listen, neither of these guys have been doing particularly well in the UFC. Patricio Pitbull came in there. He got kicked to fucking a decision loss against Yair Rodriguez. Granted, that's Yair Rodriguez. Then he had a very boring back and forth with Dan Ige where these guys were throwing one punch a minute each. But he mixed in the takedowns. He mixed in the grappling, which he was able to secure himself a win. Aaron Pico, on the other hand, in his last fight, he got spinning elbowed, knocked out. He got laid out cold. But I feel like a lot of people don't give him enough respect for how he was doing up until the point he got knocked out. This guy had Lerone against the cage for the entire first round. He was piecing up Lerone. He introduced the takedowns, took down Lerone 2 times. He was pressuring him very well. His power was immense. His boxing was looking great. But I think he was feeling himself too much. He was feeling himself too much, got too reckless. The lights were too bright. And he got spinning elbowed, knocked out. But listen, man, Aaron Pico's 29. Aaron Pico's a young guy and he can make those adjustments. He can make those improvements. But Patricio Pitbull's 38. He's turning 39 in the next 3 months. There is no more adjustments. We've seen what this guy's capable of. And he used to be capable of a lot. And we know what his skill set is. But even that skill set that he did have has been diminishing lower and lower and lower again. And I don't think he's going to be able to match Aaron Pico's pace. I think in this fight, the grappling component is actually going to be negated. I think that I wouldn't be surprised if Aaron Pico's the one to engage in the grappling and introduce the takedowns. Because Patricio Pitbull, granted, he's a great jiu-jitsu practitioner, but his wrestling is not that great. It really isn't. It's really slow, very sloppy. He does great wrestling work when he's against the cage, but other than that, when he's blasting doubles from the middle of the octagon, he does not land them. And I think Aaron Pico, being an Olympic alternate for wrestling, training with DC his entire life, will be able to negate the takedowns. However, I think that Aaron Pico is going to be weary of his own chin, man. Aaron Pico has a glass chin. As many highlight reel knockouts Aaron Pico has, there's highlight reels of Aaron Pico getting knocked out. I think he's going to be weary, but I think he's going to use his pressure, his boxing. He's going to negate Patricio Pitbull's wrestling, and I think he's going to secure himself a decision win because I think he's going to slow things down to ensure he doesn't get caught. However, that's what I think. But if Aaron Pico goes out there and fights like he always does, I think he can get a finish here. Dude, Aaron Pico's got some dynamite hands. Aaron Pico mixes it up incredibly well. He's got phenomenal boxing. He digs to the body. He goes up top. I don't want to say he reminds me of Ilya Topuria, but the semblance that I'm trying to draw here is that this guy's a boxer first before a kickboxer. He's a boxer first before anything else. And I think that he's going to be able to dig to Patricio Pitbull's body. I think he's going to force Patricio Pitbull against the cage, force him on his back foot. And Patricio Pitbull does not do well off his back foot. And I think range is going to be very irrelevant in this fight. And I think that Aaron Pico is going to be able to blitz in and secure himself a decision victory. But he can land that knockout shot, though. So watch out for that. But, dude, I'm excited for this, bro, because I feel like a lot of people are dissing Aaron Pico for no reason. I still see this guy doing very well in the UFC, and I could definitely see him even making the top 6, bro. There's no fucking way, dude. He was giving Lerone Murphy, number 2 contender, a hard fight, man. Probably one of the hardest he's ever had. And that's why we're going to have to lean him in this fight. Granted, I do not like the fact that he's a minus 300. He's got a glass chin, guys. So, I'd be careful if you want to bet on him. Moving up the card, we have Cub Swanson taking on Nate the Train Landwehr. This is Battle of the Unks, ladies and gentlemen. Cub Swanson, man, he's coming off that win against Billy Correntino by KO, but he retired after that. Now he's coming out of retirement for one more to go back into retirement. I don't even know, man. Nate the Train is coming off that knockout loss against Morgan Charrier, where it was low-key a little bit of a fucking firefight up until that 3rd round. But in this fight, I'm going to go with Cub Swanson. Listen, bro. Nate the Train, he's befitting of that name. He's going to come at you from the start of the bell to the fucking end of the bell. Don't get it twisted. It's Nate the fucking Train. When you think you've got him out, he's even stronger than ever before. But, dude, this guy, he's not really sound offensively nor defensively. He's just an entertaining character. And he's the type of guy that if you blow your load trying to finish him, he'll take over the fight and then maybe finish you. But Cub Swanson, man, he's a veteran of the game. And, dude, this guy... Dude, Cub Swanson is a veteran, guys. He's a UFC vet that we all need to respect and love, bro. He's an OG. And he's fast with the boxing. He's dangerous with the leg kicks. Grappling is completely irrelevant in this fight. But I do have to say that Nate the Train does have pretty good jiu-jitsu. I think that Cub Swanson's going to be digging to that body, going up top. And I think he can find the chin of Nate the Train. But, dude, Cub Swanson is 42, so I don't know how much pop he has left in his shots. And considering that he's 42, he's also going to be tired when it comes to rounds 2 and 3. Like, let's keep it real here. Both these guys are going to slow down. They're unks, bro. But I think this is going to be a fucking fight, man. This is going to be something that's going to give us a throwback to the old UFC days where people just like to scrap, where people just like to throw some fucking meaty hooks at each other. And I think this has potentially fight of the night. These two unks, man, they do not play around. So I'm excited for this fight, and I have to edge it to Cub Swanson. And if I had to pick, I'll lead Cub Swanson by decision. Moving up the card, we have Dominic Reyes taking on my boy, Johnny Walker. Dominic Reyes is coming off that KO loss against the title contender, the title challenger Carlos Ulberg. Johnny Walker, on the other hand, is coming off the upset victory over Mingying Zhang in China, where he was able to shut down Mingying Zhang's boxing, spam leg kicks, show him levels in the grappling, take him to the ground, and find himself a finish. Guys, this is a battle of who's got a worse chin, because both these guys are notoriously the two chinniest motherfuckers in light heavyweight division. I have to edge Johnny Walker. I was about to sit here and be like, guys, Dominic Reyes is the man that beat John Jones, because he is. Dominic Reyes is the man that was supposed to be the future. Dominic Reyes is the man that was just on a 3-fight win streak and got KO'd. But listen, man, Dominic Reyes only does well when he's pressuring forward. He does not fight well off the back foot, and he's not a very unorthodox guy. He's a boxer at heart. He utilizes his leg kicks to set up his boxing, but that's all that he has. Johnny Walker, on the other hand, he's got a capoeira base, which is like Brazilian dance fighting. He's got great Muay Thai, and he's so unpredictable, dude. This guy will throw a flying knee. He'll throw a fucking spinning elbow. He'll do shit that you'll be like, why the fuck are you doing that? But I think that's exactly where he's going to excel in this fight. His unpredictability and his own formation of pressure is going to negate Dominic Reyes' pressure. And every time Dominic Reyes fights off the back of it, he's gotten knocked out over and over and over and over again. We saw him get knocked out by Prochazka when he was against the cage. We saw him get knocked out by Carlos Ulberg because he's fighting off his back foot. And that's why I have to pick Johnny Walker by KO. And I think he's going to KO him in the first or second, man. I think that Johnny Walker is going to do some crazy fucking shit. And we're going to be shocked and think that this guy is going to be making himself a name in the light heavyweight division. But we know Johnny Walker. We know that he's going to come out there, look like a world ender, and then lose in his next fight. Now, if I had to make an argument for Dominic Reyes, it would be that Johnny Walker is going to do this retarded shit and gas himself out, where Dominic Reyes is then going to be able to implement the boxing, dig to the body, which is going to remove a little bit of Johnny Walker's unorthodox movements. However, dude, that's a world where he's able to get off his pressure, and I don't think he's going to be able to get off that pressure in this fight. I think that Johnny Walker is going to be a little bit too much for him because he's relentless, and he's going to slow down Dominic Reyes, and Dominic Reyes is slowed down trying to figure out what his next move is. He always gets clipped. I think he's going to do something stupid, and Johnny Walker is going to knock him out in rounds 1 or 2. This fight is fucking lined perfectly. It's even money either side, man. This is a pick'ems if I've ever seen it. Moving up the card, we have Curtis Blaydes taking on Josh Hokit. Before I even get into the fucking analysis here, I have to take out the Zins because this is getting serious. All right? This is getting fucking serious, boys. That's Zin number 1. And that's Zin number 2. Listen, guys, let me get in a little bit of a rant here. Josh Hokit is a cringe lord, and I fucking hate him. Okay? This guy came into the UFC in the Contender Series. He secured himself a knockout victory via ground and pound. And he came out, he was funny. He had a little bit of a Hulk Hogan, Kobe Covington, Chael Sonnen-esque character. And this is the type of people we need in the UFC. I've been preaching about this for the longest time, man. I love fighting. I love the sport, but there's also entertainment aspect to this. You have to sell yourself. You have to sell your name. You have to make me interested into why I want to watch you and you specifically. And Josh Hokit has been doing that. He's been showing up on Jaden Cable's streams. He's been making himself a name with these like interviews that he's been doing with Ariel Helwani, talking about how Michael Chandler is going to adopt one of Waldo Cortez Acosta's kids. He's funny, but man, this fight week, he's put such a distaste in my mouth by being the center of attention 24/7. He always calls the attention to himself, and he's overexposing his character. He's getting boring, repetitive, and cringe, dude. He's even walking around the interviewing section with a lightsaber, and out of all the people he decided to make a problem with, he made a problem with Yuri, a fan favorite, and he was cringe, talking about, I'm going to sew off your head and put it on Alex Pereira's body. What the fuck are you talking about? Then he went on going, meh, saying cringe-ass things when they're trying to interview him. He's trying way too hard. There's no comedic timing. There's no creativity. It's just cringe and gay, bro. And I hate saying it like that. I don't mean in a derogatory way. I'm just saying in the sense that he's so try-hard. He's cringe, and he's trying to pick a fight with everybody and be the center of attention. Now, forget my rant about him as a character. Let's get into a statistical analysis of this fight. I'm picking Curtis Blaydes by knockout. Fuck this motherfucker, bro. Let me tell you why. Listen, bro. Josh Hokit His best win is Denzel fucking Freeman. Are we serious? What are we doing here? He is a very undersized light heavyweight. At his last weigh-in, he came in at 239 pounds. But Curtis Blaydes, dude. Curtis Blaydes is 6'4", walking around at 260. He's a mean machine. He's a big heavyweight. And this guy, he's been around the top echelon forever. And he's only lost to the top echelon other than Derrick Lewis. We're not going to talk about that. But you see, Josh Hokit in his last fight against Denzel Freeman, he won. The joke is he won via middle finger. But what happened in that fight? Okay, him and Denzel Freeman went back and forth. He landed the bigger shots. And at the end of the round, the last 5 seconds, it was very evident that Josh Hokit was tired. He was very tired. He's never made out the first. And that's why he walked away flipping him off, because even though he was trying to aura farm, he was aura farming because he was exhausted. I think if Curtis Blaydes is able to survive the first, he's going to be using his experience, his cardio to wear down Josh Hokit in round 2 and 3 and find himself a finish. I think he can show this guy levels, man. This is such a shoot up the rankings. I don't even understand why they gave him this opportunity. Is it because of personality? Because skill-wise, it makes no sense. Josh Hokit's best asset in MMA is his wrestling, but that's irrelevant here, man. Curtis Blaydes is a former NCAA All-American wrestler. Wrestling is his forte. And what happened to the last person that tried to wrestle Curtis Blaydes? Oh, who was that? Jailton Almeida. And what happened? Vicious elbows, because Jailton Almeida was not able to take him down, but he was so committed in, and he knocked out Jailton Almeida. I think that Curtis Blaydes is going to wear down Josh Hokit. Josh Hokit can turn out fast, but when he starts trying to throw those takedowns out there and they don't start landing, he's going to get a little bit demoralized. He's going to get more tired with each attempt, and Curtis Blaydes is going to knock his lights out and shut this motherfucker up, bro. He's going to shut him up, make a statement, and let him know, hey, big dog's got to eat. Moving on, we're going to the co-main event of the evening. Azamat Murzakanov versus Paulo Costa. The co-main event of the evening was supposed to be Joshua Van versus Tatsuro Taira. I was looking forward to it, but God knows what happened to Joshua Van. But now we've got this for our co-main event. And man, this is going to be an entertaining fight. I'm going to tell you that much. Paulo Costa, this is his first appearance at light heavyweight, and they gave him a killer in Azamat Murzakanov. Paulo Costa, man, he used to be a dog. I think a lot of people forget how much of a dog he used to be. Do people forget the fight he had with Yoel Romero where they went at each other with the... It was a war, man. Top 20 fights of all time, in my personal opinion. It was a war. They were going at each other. But in the recent years, I feel like Paulo Costa hasn't really taken himself seriously, if I'm being honest with you. Because in his losses, it's not that the other guy is so much better than him. I just always feel like Paulo Costa is not doing enough. He kind of reminds me of a Cheeto Vera, where you have the capabilities to beat this guy. You always look like you're about to beat this guy in the third round, but you just take it way too slow for the first couple rounds. But now, Paulo Costa moving up to light heavyweight, it's kind of like he's trying to revitalize his career and revitalize his image. And I think he can do it, man. I'm going to pick him. I'm picking Paulo Costa for this fight. I'm picking the dogs in this card, guys. Let me tell you something. Azamat Murzakanov is built like a blobfish. This guy's not built well. He's also a very small light heavyweight. In terms of, he's a shorter guy. He weighs in at 205. He is flabby. And listen, Azamat has boxing and nothing else. He does introduce takedowns. You know, we did see that against Dustin Jacoby where they went to decision. But here's the thing, guys. Paulo Costa boasts an 80% takedown defense after being in the UFC for almost a decade. What are we doing here, guys? Are we seriously going to forget who Paulo Costa is? Listen, they have equal reach in this fight as well. That's something that's important to know, that this is the first time Azamat Murzakanov is fighting someone with the equal amount of reach. So, hey, maybe Azamat can get his boxing game off. But you know what he can't get off? The kicks. I think Paulo Costa is going to dig to that body, chop at that leg. And a guy who's so heavy on that lead leg because he's a boxer, it's going to substantially take away from his game. And I think Paulo Costa will have more cardio and lighter man skill. Excuse me. I think a lot of people forget about the fact that lighter guys, the lower weight division you are, you'll always have more skill in the higher weight divisions, and you're always more capable and more dynamic to pull off more crazy maneuvers, and you're able to push the pace a little bit more. And I think he's going to lose the first, Hundo P, But I think that if he's intelligent and he's able to break down Murzakanov and make Murzakanov desperate for the takedown attempts, I think that Paulo Costa is going to be able to give us one of his signature knockouts. Guys, his nickname is the Eraser. Why did we used to call him that? Because he erased people, guys. Now, I do wonder, though, because I am worried because, guys, this statistical analysis I'm giving you is in a world that Paulo Costa tries. But here's the thing, man. Paulo Costa, I don't remember the last time I saw this guy trying. I mean, he did try against Roman Kopylov, but even then, I felt like Roman Kopylov was scared and was on his back foot and did not want to engage. I feel like Paulo Costa could have done a lot more in that fight. He clearly won that fight, but I feel like he could have gotten a finish because Roman Kopylov did not want to stand and bang with him there. If Paulo Costa comes out there and takes a fight to Murzakanov, I think he can overwhelm him. But that's in a universe that Murzakanov is slowed down and Paulo Costa is actually trying. I wouldn't be surprised if Paulo Costa gives up and loses a decision like he always does. But I don't think he will. I think he's going to come out there and remind us who he is, man. Because he was a high-ranked middleweight for a long, long time. You got to give respects where respects due. And, dude, a lot of people, man, inflate Murzakanov's technical capability so much. He's 16-0, but you always got to ask yourself, like, when it comes to these Russians, who is he 16-0 against? Alonzo Menefield, Justin Jacoby, guys who are at the bottom or right outside of the rankings. He's not fought any top-level competition. And Rakic, I picked Rakic to beat Murzakanov. You can give me all the diss you want. But looking back on it, hindsight 2020, Rakic was 1-4 in his last 5. You know what I mean? Rakic hasn't been looking great. Rakic has been looking very chinny. So Murzakanov hasn't fought any elite level comp. This would be the first person I'm like, this is a good fight for him. And I think regardless of what happens here, regardless of who wins, we're about to see a tough fucking fight. But I gotta leave my boy, Paulo Costa. Secret juice! Secret juice! Now, it's time for the main event of the evening, ladies and gentlemen. We have Yuri Prochazka taking on Carlos Ulberg. I gotta take a sip of water before I even begin talking about this fight. You ready? I'm not even going to give an analysis before I say who's going to win. Yuri Prochazka by murder. Listen, I understand Yuri's 3-2 in his last 5 and he got knocked out twice in the last 3 years. But who knocked him out? Alex Pereira, a guy who's moving up to heavyweight and who people are saying he's right outside of being the GOAT if he gets that 3rd belt. Yuri Prochazka has been to decision 1 time in his career. He's had almost 40 fights, and he's been to decision 1 time in his career. Listen, Carlos Ulberg, his best win is against Jan Blachowicz. Listen, I don't rate the win against Dominic Reyes. I explained to you guys in my analysis between Dominic Reyes and Johnny Walker. Both these guys have slowed down. Their chins are gone. Listen, man, and even in that fight against Jan Blachowicz, who's 41, he looked like he lost that fight. Listen, I edged it to Ulberg, but it was a razor-thin close fight. But on the side of Yuri, this guy has only fought elite-level competition his entire career. He was a champion Ryzen. He was a champion, another regional promotion I forgot the name of. He was a champion in the UFC. This guy's fought anybody and everybody. I think he's almost cleared the entire top 15. He murdered Volkan Oezdemir. He murdered Khalil Roundtree. He murdered Dominic Reyes. But here's a note. When he murdered Dominic Reyes and Carlos, and you're like, what about the double standard? When he murdered Dominic Reyes, it was when Dominic Reyes was coming off that loss against John Jones. Like, that's 2 different people here, guys. I think people are overrating Carlos so much. And you know what it is? It's because of the statistical matchup. Listen, Yuri has been prone to be weak to leg kicks and to left hooks. And that's what Carlos is good at. But Carlos is good at it. And even his leg kicks, they're tippy-tappy leg kicks. When Pereira throws a leg kick, he's investing in the leg kick, throwing heavy leg kicks. Carlos does it to throw off the rhythm of his opponent. And listen, Carlos Ulberg's 1 loss is a knockout loss against Kennedy Nzechukwu about 5 years ago in the UFC. And how did he lose? He lost because he couldn't deal with the pressure. Why was that fight so close with Jan Blachowicz? Because he couldn't deal with the pressure. Carlos Ulberg is an incredibly good kickboxer when he's off his front leg, but when he's off his back foot, he's more or less trying to keep you away from him than implement his own game. And I think that Yuri Prochazka is someone that he's never seen before. Yuri Prochazka I can't even sit here and give you a stylistical analysis of him because he's so unorthodox. He fights how we wish we could fight. This guy fights like a video game. He's completely unpredictable. He's in your face the whole time. He's improved his head movement. He's unorthodox, and he's going to be relentless, and he looks for the knockout shot. A lot of these guys, they try to win rounds, and if they get the knockout, they get the knockout. No, Yuri wants the knockout. And here's the thing. Yuri is dangerous from the start to the end. There's not a single time that you could slow down Yuri. Yuri won't get slowed down. And I think for Carlos Ulberg to win this fight, he needs to slow him down and he needs to take him to a decision. But how is he going to take Yuri Prochazka to a decision? And how many fights has Carlos Ulberg fought in the UFC 5-rounders? 0. Carlos Ulberg has never fought a 5-rounder in the UFC. Well, on the other side of Yuri Prochazka, all this guy's fought is fucking 5-rounders. Even if Carlos beats him for 4 rounds, when it comes to the 5th, what is going to happen? Yuri's going to come out there and break him down. It doesn't matter. Now, I don't think that's going to even happen. I got to say it how I think it is. I got to speak with my fucking chest. I think Yuri finishes him within 3. I think Yuri's going to be in his face from start to finish, and Ulberg's not going to know what to do. When this guy's spamming flying knees and spinning elbows and moving around like this and being like, yeah, hit me, motherfucker, he's going to be like, what the fuck am I dealing with? Who am I in the cage with right now? I think to beat a guy like Yuri, you have to be like Alex Pereira, where you pose that knockout power. Ulberg doesn't have that knockout power. All his knockouts are against cans. And when he fought a good level comp in Jan Blachowicz, he did not get that finish. He made it so close, people thought he lost. Carlos Ulberg just doesn't have anything for Yuri. And nothing about Carlos Ulberg also screams to me that this guy's the champ. There's nothing about him that's particularly impressive. If you look at the champs throughout all the divisions, they're all a little bit unorthodox, but Carlos Ulberg isn't unorthodox at all. He's an extremely great fundamentalist of kickboxing. That is the only thing that he possesses, and it's great fundamentals. But you need a little bit of unorthodox movement. You need your own style when you want to become the champion, because you're easy to figure out when I know what you're going to do, because you're a kickboxer. You're just going to be doing kickboxing. Pereira is unorthodox in the manner if he sets up his shots. Like, I don't even need to sit here and give a reason why Pereira, a kickboxer, is unorthodox, okay? It's kind of self-explanatory. It's Alex fucking Pereira, guys. Like, let's keep it real for a minute. And people are going to be quick to pull up the Khalil Roundtree fight because they're like, oh, Yuri was down 2 until he found the finish. Yeah, until he found the finish, because that's what Yuri does. He's going to start a fucking high-ass pace, and you're going to have to keep it. And Khalil, granted to him, he was trying to keep that pace for the first 2 rounds, and he did. But, man, Yuri's something else. He's going to keep keeping that pace. He's not going to slow down for a single second at any moment of the fights. And Khalil did, and Khalil wanted to catch a breather, but Yuri's not going to let you get a breather. When you want those breathers, when you want to disengage, that's when he's going to be up in your face, and that's when he's going to be landing heavy shots. He looks for finishes. And one more thing I got to say here, Yuri is a phenomenal jiu-jitsu practitioner. I'm not sitting here about to say he's going to go out there and shoot takedowns or anything. But what I'm trying to say is if he drops Ulberg, I won't be surprised if he jumps on him and submits him like he did to Glover. Yuri is trying to finish you, and does not matter what it is. If Ulberg falls to his knees with his palms on the floor, expect Yuri to jump on that back and get that sub. I think that Yuri's going to show this guy levels. And another thing is, man, Yuri has the age advantage in this fight. Ulberg is 35. Yuri's 33. On top of that, 2 days after this, Yuri's having a fucking kid. If you want me to sit here and with a straight face tell me that that doesn't matter, bro, you're telling me this guy's not going to be in the octagon thinking about his unborn child, his wife that's about to go in labor. There's nothing ever more important to Yuri than getting this win. And on top of that, this entire week I've been watching interviews with him. I've been seeing him on Aiden Ross's live stream, whatever. I love his mentality. They keep asking him questions about what do you want to do after this? What are your future opponents, etc. and so forth. And you know what he keeps saying? I just have to focus on this fight. I have to focus on the challenge in front of me, and I don't want to look past them. That's so fucking G. This guy is focused. This guy's unorthodox. This guy has seen guys like Carlos in his career time and time again. He's 40 fights. He's seen it all. But Ulberg has never seen a guy like Yuri. He's never dealt with the pressure of Yuri. And I think it's going to be too much for him. I think he's going to get overwhelmed. And man, City Kickboxing, Adesanya's gym, they're not having a good year, and I don't think this will change anything. I think Ulberg's going to die. I think he's going to die. You get me? Fuck, I love Yuri Prochazka, man. He's so fucking cool. He's such a fucking G. He's a samurai. He's the last Ronin of this century. I'm so excited for these fights. Guys, I can't sit here and bullshit you. Well, that has been my picks for UFC 327, Prochazka versus Ulberg. If this is your first time watching my channel, please consider leaving a subscribe, a comment, and a like, because it does help me out. Let me know down below who you think is going to win, Prochazka or Ulberg. Lazy MMA, lazy analysis, serious results.